Hey, we are back with another episode. I am trying to make a game in Unity with C# programming. We're working on a village simulator game, and in the last episode, I kind of left it at a state where the villager was dropping things off at the storage house, but then it was um, getting some errors. So some things I fixed. Just that in the AI agent, just making sure we actually have a plan, and that if it's less than 0, if the plan count is less than 1, that means we need to create a new plan. If it's more than 1, we're going to go back to doing the next thing in our plan and moving along that way. And yep, I think that was about it. That kind of fixed some things. And then really some of the issues are just with the world state and getting things to subtract correctly. One of the issues is currently how I have it set up, and I'm going to have to probably change this later down the road. But what I did was in the world state, just for testing, or actually in the map, just for testing, I begin the game with saying that has resources 0. And part of that is when it's checking for resources. Um, Actually, I don't know if this matters right now, but I'm just adding this string into our world state to begin with. Really, this shouldn't be in the world state. It should be in the agent. But that's something I still need to look into it and make sure that that stuff works correctly with having the agent with its own states. As far as when I say states, I don't mean like the finite state, but just the data that's being stored. And then here in our perform actions with some of our actions, we're changing the world state when you pick up a resource to a -1. We are in our take resource storage here. We're also saying that our has resource is a -1, so that it can go back and say, hey, since we don't have a resource anymore in our world state, go get another one, because that's right now the agent's goal. The agent's goal is just to make look for storage resource has 1, and really the state is doesn't matter how much it is, as long as, and it just keeps redoing it anyways. Like, it's not like it's saying, hey, we've gotten one thing in the storage, let's not do anything more, let's not put any more things in the storage. That's not what this is doing. It, as long as there's always one. So really this goal will always be searching for this. Now eventually we're going to be changing our goals where it's a little bit more dynamic, where we can have several different goals, and then we have like priorities on those goals, and then based upon those priorities, how it would determine which goal to seek after. For example, if our hunger was low, then it's going to have a goal of always eating, but it won't prioritize that unless it's at a certain state or a certain level. Let's go to the game. I'll just show it off real quick, see what happens with the AI agent. Right now he's flying up in the air, but that's kind of fine. He's dropping that off. He went to the tree. You can't see him actually get the resources because he immediately picks them up. So I think in this episode we're going to have a little we're going to use the duration. Let me pause it for a second. I'm going to turn these villagers off. I was getting an error with them. Uh, they're not really used anymore, but I'm just keeping them there for now so that I don't have to worry about some bugs just in case something's using villagers. So it's just getting them all, and he just keeps doing this. You can see our wood is at 5, now berry, so we got a couple more berries. It's doing this pretty quick. We're going to add a duration to the performance after it performs it of each of the actions. And that's going to be pretty much similar to how we did it with all right, so then it stops. Let me see, we got no errors. It's not making any more list. And part of the reason why is I have a condition in the gather resource. And I could probably put this in other ones where if there are no gatherable objects at all in the scene, don't bother um, picking this as an action because you can't get more. All right, so let's pause that. I also have this. It's hard to see, but a text that kind of just shows what the states are at. Let me just kind of move this up a little bit. Um, the world states. Let's just move this up. Whoa, put it about right there. All right. And so, yeah, let's go to the character, the AI agent, when it's performing the task. Let's just do a little debug. Here, not debug, but let's do some commenting. Um, Start duration for action, and then perform action after timer is up. So each of the actions, now we could do something like this: AI action, current action is equal to this. Oops. Let me say this. Now we're going to say current action dot update. Let's see if we need that in our actions here. Duration timer. I think I put that in there. Yeah, duration timer on awake. We have a public void update duration. There's a ton of stuff to do for this game, that's for sure. Think I'm up to episode 35 or something. And look at where the state of the game is right now. It's not really even playable. So you can only imagine how many videos this is going to be. But I'm going to do it. Keep working on it. I'm having fun doing it too. So let's see, where was I? All right. No, we want this to be, we're going to say duration timer is plus equal to time dot delta time. Then if duration time is greater, no, if duration timer is greater than duration, action, let's return true. So we'll make a bool. We're going to return true. Return true. And we want to reset the duration timer. Duration timer is equal to 0. Else, well, I guess we don't really need to do an else. We can just say return false. So let's go back to our AI agent. Okay, let's if current action dot update duration, then we're going to perform this, and that's all we need to do. And I can take this and do this. All right, now let's save it. Let's go to here and let's do all these actions. So the duration for take a resource from ground, let's just make it 1. Just make everything 1 for now, just to test it. This is going to be take resource storage, we'll say 1. Gather resource, we're going to say 1. Actually, let's make this 2. Let's play it, see what happens. Alright, so you can see over there, okay, it did it. Yeah, now it's taking a little bit of time. We can't really see that. Let's see if we can copy and paste the code we did for showing a bar from our village controller. Alright, so it looks like we have something called show bar. See if I can find that. Here we go. Let me copy this. Control C. Go to our agent. Because we can put it here maybe. Actually, whoops. Let's not do that. Control X. I mean, look how small this look how small our agent class is. It's doing like all the same kind of stuff, but it's now the AI part of it is somewhere else. This only deals with the states, and that's it. And obviously, other things like showing the work bar, and we'll probably do like the need stuff, or we might separate that the checking needs stuff into a separate script as well. So let's see if now let's get an AI action, current action, and we'll change all this to the current action. So we're no longer using this task system action, and we want to say, actually we don't even need that anymore. If current action dot duration is greater than 0. I don't even know if I need that. Let's see, public game object work bar. Let's go down. I think that's what I called it. Work bar GO. Okay. And then public game object work bar sprite. Work bar sprite. Is it? Okay. Spelling's important. At least spelling it the same. At least it lets you know whether you spelled it incorrectly or not. Alright, transform is this. This divided by that, so this is going to be the duration divided by the duration timer. This is probably the timer, and then this is the duration. Okay. All right. So that does that. Let's go when we're working. So working on our job, we're going to say show work bar. And then what we want to do is after we've performed the task, we want to hide this work bar. Work bar go.set active to false. And we want to send the current action to it. All right, now let's go to let's see. Let's go to our villager and see if we can just copy those objects. Probably, right? That's in our prefabs. So right here, let's Control C. Let's go back to our scene here. Let's go to our test agent. Let's add that work bar. And then here in our agent, if I can find it, right here, this is the game object. And this is the sprite. I think that's the sprite. It might be the panel, so I might rename that so I know for sure. Okay. So we are not seeing a bar. Let's see if we're getting any errors. Not getting any errors. Let's work bar, sprite. Let's just do panel. Let's just double check that. Oh, you know what? If I zoom in on the work bar, it's way over there. Okay, let's zero this out. Make this 0, 0, and then move it up to above his head. And let's just test this out, see what's doing. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we got the work bar back. So that was easy. We'll just set to false to begin with. All right, now let's get the blueprints working. So let's go to our scripts, our agent actions. So we need a script that says take resource to blueprint, We need another script called take, oh, come on now. Take resource from storage. All right, so let's do the take resource from storage first. All right, this is take resource to blueprint, take resource to storage, take resource from storage. All right, this is going to be a AI action. We'll leave all those for now. Let's see. We need to override the set target, override the perform action, and override the condition. So public override void perform action. So we want to, this is to take resource from storage. So let's go to our map manager where we had done that with our previous village AI and see if I can find that action here. Add storage. Create, build action, take out resource. Yeah, maybe it's here, take out resource. So let's just copy all this. Okay, this is going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. I'm already sensing it. All right, we got a lot of stuff here. Storage object is equal to this get component of the storage object. Um, it's gonna be target agent AI agent target. Come on now, AI agent target. Village controller. We can get rid of that. String is. Oh, what? That's weird. String. String resources village controller dot target resource. So we need to set this. All right. So let's go to our AI agent, and we're going to have a public string resource target. Remember, we were saying for it to get a resource target. So this needs to change to AI agent resource target resource. Okay, what to name it? Go back to that target resource. Okay. Storage object as resource contains. List of game objects. This is going to be map manager dot instance dot get game prefabs with type. Resource dot map manager dot instance dot create that. AI agent dot carry object is equals to that. We remove it. Just delete this for now. And then have not found a thing. We're going to say AI agent. Okay. So let's we gotta figure out a target though. Let's go to, we've been doing this a little bit. Send the target. Let's do this. We'll think through this. See, this is just finding the object that's the first one. We don't want to do that. We want to find an object with a certain resource, a certain storage with a resource. Let's see if I already have a function in my map manager. Check storage has the resource. Create create it. So I don't think that's all I really need to do. If resource, or sorry, if AI agent dot, well, I don't have a target, do I? No. Target resource. This has to happen before. We have to have a target. If target resource is equal to, no. If, let's do this. Gather object, okay. If gather object, if, let me just see if I'm doing this right. If, I think I need to do this. Get target object. We don't have a target object yet. We want to get this from the gather objects. Gather objects. We need to loop through for each game object and gather objects. Or we'll call it gather object. Actually, let's call this storage building. Let's change this to storage buildings, so that'll be a little bit easier to know what we're looping through. And then let's take all this, Control X, let's delete this, we don't need to call that twice. Put this here. All right, we're going to change this to storage building. We don't need this anymore. But we want to say if storage object dot resources dot contains the key of the AI target AI agent dot target resource. Then we want to say storage building. And we'll do the same here. All right. Okay, so that sets the target. Now it's just saying the game object that it needs to interact with. This is when it performs the action. This is how it's taking out the resource. Okay. Here's the tricky part. Actually, this isn't going to be tricky, right? What we're going to do here is we're going to do kind of the same thing for the set. We need to make sure that we can get a target. We need to make sure that there is a storage that has that resource that we want to go get. Okay? So we want to find a list of all the buildings. We want to check each of those buildings. We want to do all this, but we're not going to set the target object to this. We're just going to say we're going to Control X, put this in here. So we're going to return the other condition. Then what we're going to say is return false. So it goes through all those. It says, hey, you don't have a storage building that has that. Okay, this has nothing, we're not checking world states, we're checking all right, this is kind of a problem too. So this is some of the issues I'm having with this system, or just how do I understand it, and how do I do the world state a little bit better, because you're trying to in the AI when it's making a planner, It's trying to kind of run through the plan and set things up without actually ever really doing it. Well, um, it's kind of hard to explain the situation. Like, let's say I needed to go get some wood from the storage for whatever reason, but currently in the world state there is no wood in any storages. However, maybe there's some actions like chopping down the tree, getting the wood that would then set it to where there was wood in a storage. Okay? If it runs this when it checks the conditions, it will never do that kind of pre-planning kind of thing. It would never pick it. So this really isn't the way to go about doing it. You really need to have it where um, the condition is set through the world state. Basically, because remember the actions are storing world states, and so it takes the effects of something else to say, hey, now our world state is changed. For example, when we drop a resource into a storage, we need to have a flag that says, hey, there is wood in the storage in our world state that we're just temporarily saying. Now, you could do on a storage building, they have their own world states, and so these world states could be set. Oh man, but again, those ones, yeah, it's all kind of tricky. Goes back to like the world states of the AI. Like, how can you temporarily set the agent's AI world state, the state of the AI, and then revert back to it? Um, let's take this out for a sec. And it's gonna be kind of hard to test this, but just take that out for a second. Like, let's say we have two storages. One has only berries, one has only wood. It needs to figure out from here when it's planning that there is wood in one of those resources. However, it should also plan that we could get wood into that storage. But that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you even do that? Why would you go? So this might be fine. I'm gonna leave it because it makes no sense for the AI to go chop down a tree to get wood to take it to the storage just so it could take it out of the storage. That makes no sense. So we're gonna leave it like this for now. Okay. Let's see if we can kind of test this out. Um, let's go to the test agent. Let's add that. Take resource from storehouse. The condition would be, we're going to just leave that to nothing because, yeah, we'll just leave that to nothing. The effect string would be, oof, has resource. It's going to be weird. And we're going to say 1. Okay. Cost is 1. Action name is take from storehouse. Duration is 1, just so that we can see it. Let's just save it. We'll test out what all it does. See if this messes with anything. All right, we have something assigned. Let's go to this. All right, move to target. So we did not get a target, I guess. That's what I'm assuming. Um, it's performing the take from storehouse because there's no. Okay, so this is. That doesn't make sense. Here were the graphs it made. The easiest one was to do. Let's see. It's hard to see. Um, take resource storage. Take resource storage. Take resource storage. Take from storage. So the first thing is it's saying take from storage, so you can take the resource to the storage. Kind of weird, but let's just leave it at that for now. It picked this one as its action. It shouldn't be. The precondition for it to take from the resource should have failed. Let's go back to it, just to make sure. Let's go to this condition here. It goes through all this. If the storage resource contains the AI agent target resource, for each storage object, for each storage building in there, storage.resource contains AI agent.target resource, which we're saying the target resource is nothing. And so it contains nothing. It's kind of weird. Let's just put another end storage object.resources.count is greater than 0. Just make sure that there's actually something in there for it to even check. Let's see if that changes anything. Nope, didn't. Still saying take from storehouse. Goal is take resource 2, take resource 2 storage, take resource 2 storage. Resource 2 storage condition is good. Resource 2 storage condition is good. Hold on. Resource 2 storage, take resource 2 storage. Take resource 2 storage. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm spelling things correctly. Take resource from storehouse. Take resource 2. So every time you add a new action, this just gets larger and larger. Checking action, take from storehouse, saying it's good, which shouldn't be, because there is none of this right here. Did I do it in the right thing? Take resource to storage. Alright, so it gets a list of all the buildings. It loops through the building storages. It sets the storage game object. It checks if that resource contains it. I need to... no, because it needs to go through all of them. It never gets to this. So it's saying storage building plus storage building name. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to this. Let's just do a debug. log checking conditions, checking other conditions. Let's just put that. Plus the AI action. Oops. Actually, we can just say action name. Just make sure we are actually checking that. Yeah, so these things kind of slow you up, when I don't when I'm just trying to test to see how this works. My plan might have been like, hey, I'm going to get all these actions where we can start building the houses again. But check resource. Let's start at the top. Checking the resource. Take resource to storage. No. Let's see. Take from storehouse. Take from storehouse. Checking action. Take from storehouse. So we are getting to this point. Then wait. Wait. Checking take from storehouse. This is in the create graph, so it's saying we're going to check it. And then we're doing this, which check conditions, which is in here. Let me get rid of this debug. Checking, how do we call this? Checking preconditions. Checking world state conditions. World state conditions. All right, so let's go through this code. So I think this is not doing it correctly. So it's checking these conditions. And then checking condition key. So there's none in here, right? Hold on. Let's go back to... Shouldn't it do this one first? Let me go back to my first gather object action. See how I named it. I need to probably name these like actions. It's called the gather resource. Public override bool. Checking conditions for gathering. Public override. Why didn't it run this one first? Checking has resource 1. So I have so many of these same words. Checking resource. All right, let's get rid of all of this stuff. Let's just take all this out. Okay. And the main action here. Take out all those debugs. Yeah, let's take these out. It's in the crane graph one. Let's just take those out. So I just want to check that you're checking. Let's save it. All right, storage, take resource, take from is good. take resource 2. Take resource from storehouse. So it's not doing this here at all? Alright, actually let's go to our planner. It's an available action. Check condition states. Why does it doesn't go here first? Why does it go to this one? In our AI action, public virtual bool. Public virtual void. It goes to this one first though. This take from is an action. Let's try a different one here. Well, this is the same thing. Checking conditions for gathering. So if I go here, do I see that one? Checking conditions for gathering. So this is going here. Checking conditions for gathering. It does it. Public override bool, check conditions, this. But for this one's not doing the debug here. Why not? Checking other conditions. Just make sure. Recurse. Resource. Take resources storage condition is good. Resource. Take resource. This is take. See, all of a sudden it's just take from. Let me look at this carefully. What's the difference? Public override bool. Public override bool. Okay. Let's do checking world state conditions plus actions. Let's have these two. See what's happening. All right, let's pause it. See, and it does it in the right order. This is first, and then it does the base one. But then when we get down, checking world state conditions for take resource to storage, checking world state actions take resource to storage, checking world state conditions take from storehouse. Why did it do that but not the first one? Why is it not doing this debug here? Am I looking at the right thing? Check condition. It's going to be one of those things I was like, oh, this is why, you know? Oh, maybe I'm checking conditions for gather resource. See, this is just check conditions for gather resource. Check conditions for take resource. So you check conditions for gather, and then we check the world state. Check condition to take from, and this is only checking the world state. We're not checking this at all. All right, sometimes you put like a little, man, this is like, all right here. Let's go to Windows, debug, do that. Let's attach it. Hey, let me stop playing it first. Let me attach to Unity. Okay, so it's ready. Go in here. Yep. And then I push play, and it should break if I get to it. Nope, it didn't break. Checking conditions for this. Public override bool. Resource from storage. Take resource from storage. Take resource from storage. Let me just make sure I'm typing in everything correctly again. Take from storehouse is the action. Take from storehouse. Checking resource take from storehouse. I have no preconditioned strings. In my gather resource, I have no preconditioned strings. Man, everything is the exact same, but why does it not do that? Check conditions for gather. See, does it here. If base, check if there's a gather object, so then check to see if there's even a gatherable object on the ground. Which I don't even think that this is really working. Hmm. What am I doing wrong, people? Alright, here's what we're going to try doing. Let's go to this, and let's not make it virtual. Just make it public. Alright, we're probably going to get some errors. Alright, so we're not going to override it, but we are going to do this. And sure, we can say new. I don't know if this will change anything. We'll say new, get rid of this. We just have one more error. Get rid of these warnings. Say new. Let's not override. It does return the base one. We got some warnings. Okay, that's not a big deal. Whatever. Right, let's save it. Let's see if that changes some things. Still got some errors. It's clear. Okay, let's get rid of this. Call it a new one. Let's run it. Let's go back up here. Now it's not doing that. It's doing this. Okay, it must be in our AI planner. See, again, I don't want to really make these videos long, but when you're running into these errors, I kind of don't want to stop. AI agent planner, where is that? Here's that. Does it not recognize that it needs to do this one? That it has to do. I don't want to convert it. New public bool, check conditions. New public bool, check conditions. Why doesn't it go to this one first? There, you know what? We're going to just go into each of these under here. Debug.log. Other conditions for take resource to storage. Actually, let's just do this a little bit quicker. Plus AI action. Come on, just action name. Gather resource. We'll do that. What are some of our other actions? Take it from the ground. Let's do that. Just save it and see. Nope, it's not going to it at all now. I know some of you are watching this and you're saying it has to do with the inheritance, that it's not going to run this. It just, Let's go back to our actions. Let's say override. Since that didn't work anyways, change it back to override. Let's go back to our let's not override, but let's change it back to virtual. Or what can I possibly doing wrong with this syntax? Let's go back here. Let's just take this away. Public override. Play it. See? Does it here? Okay, let's go to the next action. Let's go to our take resource from ground. We'll change this to public override. We'll see if that one we see. That's to take from the ground. See? Take resource on ground. That's working. Let's go to take resource to storage. We'll do the same thing. Override that. And you know, I just have messed. I'm overlooking something. You know, that's what it is. All right. Check other condition. Take resource storage. So right now, all those are going to those. Now let's go here. The last one where it wasn't working. Override. Override this. Do I want the override first or after? Let me do after. Okay. All right. And play it. Pause. Other condition. Take resource storage. Take from. See, it's still not going to there. It's doing this. Oh, you know what? I'm going to really test. See if this works. Return true. Get rid of all that. See if this is really working. Right, we are AI action. Take from storehouse. No effects. It doesn't matter if it wasn't. It's obviously checking it. You know, we are getting the action. We are sending it. We are checking this. Take resource from storage. Take resource to storage. Then we got a return. Let's just do this. Return base dot check conditions. Wait, hold on. Let's see how we do that. Current states. Let's see. Mm. Even says it here. Look, this condition is good. Checking world state conditions from this. So it's checking this. It's running this from that action. Let's go to the planner. We'll go here. And let's do that checking. Or let's just say current. Current action. Just make sure. Alright. So the current action is gather resource. Current action is take resource on ground. Current action is take resource storage. Current action is Take resource to storage. Current action is take from storehouse, and it just does that. Alright, I'm kind of stumped here. I just don't know why all the other ones it will debug current states. Why doesn't it do that one first? Hold on. Am I doing this right? Checking conditions for take Wait, taking. We're just going to do this. Maybe I'm just not reading it right. That's what I'm looking for, everybody. If I see something with a bunch of exclamation points, I know we're getting to it. I don't ever see that. Frustrating. That's happening because I created a plan. Like at this point, I forget why I'm even trying to debug this. Because I can't figure out why this one script here will not override the check conditions here. But it does it here. It does it for all the other ones. All the other ones are overriding their things. But this one isn't. This one does not override this from the base. I'm not getting this at all. I know I'm checking it. Current action, take from storehouse. And then it checks it. It even says checking it here. This is before it loops through its things. Before checking world state of it. We're going to check the world state. This is the base one. In the other ones, go back to the gather resource. Current action is gather resource. And it says other condition gather resource. That's in the class public override. All right, you know what? I'm just going to, just in case I've typed something wrong. I'm going to copy this, go into the storage. I'm going to paste over this. I'm also going to make sure I don't have two of them. Maybe that's why. No, I don't have two. Right? Let me just double check. I do not have two. I don't have two. Let me just get rid of these because I'm not even using them. All right. You can kind of hear it in my voice a little bit. This is kind of getting a little frustrating. And it might be just I'm doing something stupid. Probably what it is. Just doing something stupid right now. Current action, take from storehouse. Checking conditions, take from storehouse. All these other ones. Here, you know what? Let me just do this too. Bunch of exclamation points. Wait. Yeah, that was. Take resource from storage is an AI action. It overrides the check conditions. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop recording. I'm going to figure this one out, and then um, I'm going to get it to completely work, probably, um, and then just go from there and see what it is I need to do. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye now.